Phoenix from Airsoft Spartans, and today I'm going to show you guys how to paint your own airsoft mask. First, these are going to be the supplies that you are going to need. You are going to need a roll of painter's tape, an X-Acto knife with extra blades, stencil design, newspaper, a backup stencil, some 80 grit sandpaper, 320 grit painter's sandpaper, your primer, your primary coat of paint, your secondary color paint, and finally the mask itself. Now, as you can probably tell, I did the first part for you already. I sanded down most of the mask with the sandpaper. Took a lot of sanding. Pretty sure you can tell, I left these parts unattended, mainly because I got to sand it down enough to where it's not going to matter, and that's not really what I'm focusing on my paint job. So now that I've got it sanded down with the 80 grit to get the top layer of paint and the 320 to get the middle spaces, you know, enough to where it's not really going to matter. The second step is to use your primer to get the mask ready for its paint. Now, the reason why I sand my mask and add primer is because when you get your mask in the mail and you just paint over what's already painted on here, it's not going to stay. Because it's just going to, over time, it's just going to peel off like it was skin. When you sand it down, you get it down to its raw material, which is what you need to start painting. And after that, you need to spray your primer, which acts as an adhesive, which keeps the paint attached to whatever surface you're going to paint. And that keeps your paint job lasting a lot longer on your mask without having to repaint or redo an idea. But the downside is that if you want to repaint it, you're going to have to follow all these steps again. So be sure you do it right the first time. Plan out multiple ideas first before you actually slap on a design on your mask. Once you have your idea down and stencil and ready to go, just sand down your mask and get ready to start painting. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the first stage of the painting process. Before you start painting, be sure that you are in a well-ventilated area. Be sure it's not too hot, not too cold, maybe between 60 and 90 is about where you want to be. And layer out your newspaper and plop your mask in the center of it to prevent, you know, painting stuff that you do not want to paint, like the floor. And before you start painting, be sure that you clean off all the residue that you might have left behind while sanding. Make sure you get a wet rag, maybe some alcohol after that, and just kind of wipe it down and let it just air dry. After that, you are ready to paint. First, we are going to use the Valspar primer, which all these materials that I have previously shown you can be bought at a home improvement store such as Lowe's. And you know, once you got everything set up, be sure to shake your can for about a minute minimum. You want it to be properly mixed. You don't want anything spurting out of there that you don't want. So hold the can upside down first. Make sure the line's clear. Alright, and let's start painting. Be sure to hold the can 10 to 8 to 10 inches over the mask itself, and just kind of go back and forth. Alright, I think it's all nice and primed up now. Now we're just going to have to wait about 5 minutes, and we will add a second coat of primer. Okay. So it's been about 5 minutes, we're going to add the second coat right now. Alrighty, now that you got your Now that you got your mask all primed up, it is best to wait about an hour or so before painting it, putting your first coat of paint on there. So we'll do that and we'll come back later. Alright, now that the paint the primer is dry, we can now move on to the first coat of paint. And my first coat, which I use as a background color, is Rust-Oleum Camouflage Black. I use this particular paint because it is a very flat black. It's not going to be glossy in any way whatsoever, which is exactly what you need. You don't want a glossy mask running around in the field, and that's just gonna not look so right. Alright, so same thing. Mix the can for about a minute. Hold it 8 to 10 inches over the mask, upside down. Make sure it's clear. We're all good. So let's get started. That's a pretty big change, isn't it? Alright, now that that's all nice and painted, again, just give it time to dry. I'm guessing for this, probably safe to wait about maybe 30 minutes or so. After that, we can come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now that it's nice and dry, we can go ahead and go on to the next step, which involves painter's tape. What you want to do is cover the whole mask in painter's tape, and then use your stencils or ideas and just, draw it on over the painter's tape, and then just using an X-Acto knife to cut out the design, and then just paint where you cut out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cover the mask in painter's tape, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, and when you're done taping your mask, it should look something like this. Now you are free to either freehand a design on your mask, or grab some sort of stencil and just trace it on there. And afterwards, take an X-Acto knife and cut it out. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in just, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Now that I'm finally done, this is what my end result looks like. Let's go spray some paint on this thing and finish this mask up. Alrighty, so now that you've gotten your design cut out, be sure to check the borders of all the lines, make sure that the tape is press firmly against the surface. You don't want it kind of oozing underneath the tape. Like mine, I want all this detail to be as sharp as possible. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, same thing. Shake up your can. I'm pretty sure you can agree behind that. Okay. Now, let's start painting. Okay, now then, let that sit and dry for a few minutes and remove the tape and see what the final product looks like. Okay, this is the final product. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to paint your own airsoft mask. Now all that's left is to just go and paint your own. And leave a comment in the comment section telling me which mask you prefer. And I'll see you guys in the next video.